sir.
The gentleman
Madam
from
Chair.
Pennsylvania is recognized for 2.5 minutes.
Thank you. From when I joined up during Vietnam until I retired last year from our military, I always watched with respect how, when human nature can be at its worst in a war, in active combat, that there were still rules of law which set the boundaries beyond which individual actions would be held accountable. I also watched during those decades with interest as contractors became a more significant and important part of our military and its operations. But I viewed with concern the men and the women that we began to assign military security operations in this most latest conflict. I say that because even though I served, and I know a number of them and served with them, is that they were now outside those rules of law. And I think that this bill is an important step within a war zone to take them back within the same standards of accountability. I speak to this because there are in the military forces and force. Our force is lethal. Our forces are comprised of individuals. And something we pride ourselves out there, which is often indistinguishable from civilians in a country we are, is that these forces, lethal on one hand, are also the GI that carries that candy bar and puts the ideals of America first and foremost. So that's why I rise in support of this bill, for the accountability that it brings. And I believe this is a first good step, which should have been done earlier. But I also speak in support because it takes us another step, hopefully, towards another action that needs to be taken. I remember speaking to the colonel after the 4 individuals of Blackwater were found outside Fallujah. And after he came back and had the remains, he said to me, if only they had called me, I could have told them that that road was not secure that day. And so as war changes, it's important to bring not just better coordination, but the accountability of the rules of law, which have always bound our military well, that there are individual actions which cannot be outside those boundaries. They will be held accountable. And I praise you much for making this bill here today.
Jones,
I yield
time
back
has
the remainder
expired.
of my time.